This week is going to be a little bit different because I'm getting ready for a pop-up art show on Friday, and today's Monday, and I still have a lot of little things I need to do to get ready. If you don't know what a pop-up art show is, you basically rent a space for a few days, get set up, have an opening or some kind of an event, and then clear everything out the next day. So this will be the first time I've done one of these. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. But there is a lot of work that you need to do to get ready. So I thought we'd go take a quick look at the studio. I'll show you how I'm kind of categorizing the work and getting it ready to go out the door. And then we'll come back down here in the shop and I'll show you a simple way that I like to frame some of my small paintings. Everything on this side of the studio is framed, wired, and ready to go out the door. And the way this show is going to hang, one side of the gallery will have a more colorful kind of a pop feel, and then on the other side of the gallery will be more representational landscapes, maybe some still lifes, things like that. So everything over here is ready to go. I've got paintings on a coffee table there that are framed, wired, and ready to go. And then over here, I'm still figuring out what paintings am I going to show. And this is where we're going to get one of these small paintings that's on panel, and we'll bring that downstairs and frame it up. The kind of frame I'm going to make is called a strip frame, and I made a video about this a few years ago, but there was a question which was, where do you get the molding? And I bought this. This is a piece of maple. I bought this at Lowe's. I'm sure you can get this at Home Depot or any home store. And this measures 1/4 of an inch by 1.5 inches, and there's other diameters available at Lowe's also if you want to work deeper. If this is walnut. Now you're probably not going to be able to find walnut at a home store, but if you want the darker color like walnut, you could always stain the maple. As far as a clear finish, I probably would use a white bond polyurethane. You can definitely find that at a home store. White bond at least 1 coat, maybe 2 coats, let it sit overnight, and then you're ready to work with it. If you're going to stain it, let the stain dry overnight, then polyurethane or white bond poly, let that dry overnight, and then you're ready to work with it. Now the material that I'm framing, this is masonite, this is a standard size, this is 5 by 7, and you can buy 5 by 7 canvas panels at any art store. I prefer painting on masonite, and again, you can probably get the masonite cut for you at a lumberyard. If not a lumberyard, maybe go to a mill shop or any small woodworking shop. And while you're at it, then get the subframe made. The subframe is made of 3/4 inch birch plywood, and this measures 5 1/4 by 7 1/4, and that gives you 1/8 of an inch reveal all the way around the painting. So what I'm going to do now is nail this molding, these strips of wood, to the subframe. This morning I used a black acrylic paint to paint the border of the panel. And now I'll hold the panel on the wooden molding and trace a line. I've got the molding for the top and bottom of the frame cut. And now I'm going to take the subframe and a piece of 1/8 inch masonite. This is the same masonite that I used to paint on. It's the same thickness. And I'll place the subframe upside down. Move it towards the edge of the table, and now I'll take a piece of the framing material and make sure that everything is touching the surface of the table. I've got 1 inch nails in my 23 gauge pin nailer. Then I'll flip the panel around, bring it close to the edge. Bring the next piece of molding, making sure that you're flush. Now that I've got the molding on the top and bottom of the frame, I'll hold the frame on the molding, flush at one end, mark a line, and this will be the next cut. I'll hold this piece of molding on the subframe, making sure that I'm flush at the front, And again, using 1-inch nails and a 23 gauge pin nailer, tack it to the subframe. And then flip the frame over and do the same thing. So now that I've got the maple frame finished and I built a walnut frame earlier today, I'm going to bring these upstairs and glue the panels to the subframe. I did want to talk a little bit about the tools I was using, because you might be thinking, well, I don't have those tools. Can you use hand tools? And you can, but it really isn't nearly as easy. A nail gun makes things so easy because every time you strike something with a hammer, it tends to want to go the other way. With a nail gun, you just line it up and pull the trigger and it sends the nail home. And it doesn't shift the piece that you're working on. So my bit of advice for purchasing tools, if you're an artist and you're thinking what tools would be the most useful for you, I think a chop saw, a nail gun, and a screw gun are very useful tools for any artist or painter, and you'll probably save money, because then you can probably cut out any framing costs if you can make your own frames. So let's bring these upstairs and finish them up. To glue the painting to the subframe, I'm using yellow woodworker's glue or yellow wood glue. You don't want to use too much glue or the panel shifts around. So you want to try to set the painting in place, keeping the reveal the same all the way around the painting. And then I put something on the face of the painting to protect it. And then I've got another block of wood here to distribute the weight. And then you can use anything to weight it down. I'm using a can of paint here. I let the glue dry for about 1.5 hours, and now I'm ready for the final step, which is to attach a wire to the back of the painting. The nice thing about having the wire set on the inside of the frame like this is the painting hangs nice and tight against the wall. It doesn't pitch forward. Alright, well, what a difference a frame makes, I think. I always love to see like a flat panel like that turn into an object, a three-dimensional object. And I think it makes a big difference. I always think of art, I think you have to kind of think of your art as a product, and you have to think of how can people collect your art, and framing and mounting are all the necessary things it takes, I think, especially for a self-represented artist to get their art out into the world. So I hope you found the video useful. I'll be setting the show up all week. If you live in the area and you want to go to the show, it will be at the A.J. Dillon Gallery on 1st Avenue Atlantic Highlands. I'll be taking video of the installation, and I'll probably take some video of the opening, and I'll post that on Sunday. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.